Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tea with TPS, informal conversations with thought leaders in India and abroad. We are in the midst of Azadi ki ka Amrit Mahotsav, an occasion to evaluate the achievements of the country in the last 75 years and to look forward to the next 25 years when we'll be celebrating our centenary. The whole of India is excited with this exercise, and we are participating in today's episode. When you review the achievements of India in the last 75 years, one of the most important topics is education. How have we come forward in the last 75 years? Is education in India is satisfactory for the requirements of our nation? If not, what are the things we need to do? Of course, none of us is satisfied entirely with the education system, because such a vast country and so many states, so many languages, it's not easy to have a standard uniform education program for the whole country. And in spite of that, we have, as you know, the education is a concurrent subject, and so both the center and the state are involved in it. There are private actors, there are government actors, there are foreign institutions. It's a whole complex of things. But we have managed it all these years and tried to evaluate the developments and also plan for the future. So for this, I have with me one of the most distinguished educationists in India today, Dr. Manimekalai Mohan. She is the managing trustee of the SSVM schools, that's the Sri Saraswati Vidya Mandir. And she is running one of the best schools in India as I have seen it. I was there recently to participate in a TEDx event. And both the school and the event demonstrated the standards and the quality of the education in the SSVM institutions. And the person responsible is none other than Dr. Manimekalai Mohan. Welcome, Dr. Manimekalai Mohan, to Tea with TPS.
It's a great honor to get interviewed by you today. It's a nice, this moment is a great moment where I will never forget in my life.
The honor is entirely mine, ma'am. So we are very grateful that I know how busy you are and you found some time to spend with us. So let me start with your name. You have a very beautiful name and historic and evocative.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not a very popular name. I don't know too many Manimekalais. We had one in the Foreign Service, very smart lady, very efficient and very determined. And I was thinking about her when I saw you. Maybe Manimekalai has something to do with this. But what prompted your parents to call you Manimekalai, except that you must have been a very beautiful baby, and therefore they wanted to give you a beautiful name. Other than that, is there a story? Is there a background?
Yeah, like actually, my grandfather was the person who kept my name as Manimekalai because he loved all those epical stories, and he was a lot inspired by Manimekalai because Manimekalai is a character in our Tamil literature where whatever she starts giving from that Akshaya Patram, the food, for the needy will never end. So he wanted.
That is what Draupadi is supposed to have had, remember?
But this is according to our Tamil Ilakyam. Manimekalai is a big literature where it goes on and like. So she was very popular Indian female who had that Akshaya Patram. That's how that Akshaya Tidhi came.
Right.
So she used to serve the needy people. Whatever comes from that, she will be the best to serve. So he thought that in future, when my granddaughter grows big, she should be one like that Manimekalai. But
Okay.
fortunately or unfortunately, it had been so. See, that's what they used to say, no? During those days, the elders, they might imagine something and they will keep that name for us. But
Yes, that is very common. That
yeah, no,
the ambition of the parents is
yeah,
reflected in the name. And
yeah,
they take the big names. Like my name was Vishnu's name, so there was
yeah.
no question. So similarly, and we in India, of course, we use a lot of gods' names, and there are so many gods and so many names. There's plenty of it. But you are not among that. You are a more of a historic character.
Yeah.
But, isn't Chilapadigaram also has a Manimekalai, is it? There are
That
different
is in
stories.
Silapadigaram only. Silapadigaram only. Silapadigaram, Sivaga Sindhamani, Manimegli, Kundalagesi, like that it goes.
And of course, you had very heroic things and so on. So,
Yes,
talk
yes,
about.
yes.
So anyway, you have lived up to your grandfather's expectations, I can see. You have
Yeah,
a Akshaya Patra of education for all the children of the world. And that's a
maybe
great,
by God's grace.
well, of course, everything is God's grace, but you also have to work very hard, I can see. It's not
Yeah.
just God's grace. You have to work very
Maybe
hard
we,
for it.
yeah, we have to keep up to the expectation of the people around us. But on top of it, it is our, what to say, mindset and our satisfaction. See, by the end of the day, whatever you do, you should be satisfied. Only if we have that passion, we can get satisfied in whatever we do. Otherwise, it's like when we think that, okay, this is my job. That's not going to give the fullest happiness of whatever we think. So I love this and it's my passion to always keep my move for the best.
Very good. I could see that because I spent a day there and I saw how hard you are working. At the same time, giving attention to every detail and also hands on. You are doing everything yourself, as it were. Of course, you have a great husband who is a pillar of support for you. You have a very good staff. Krishna is also a magical person who can do many things, get many things done. And so
Yeah.
you're lucky and you're fortunate that you have an institution like this. But the institution is really impressive. As I entered, I told Krishna, this looks like an American university. So congratulations on that. But tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about the beginnings of this institution.
Yeah, we started in the year 1998 as a small play school with 25 students. So I was born, brought up in Trichy, and I studied in a convent school. So when I had to come to this place called Sirumugai, it's a very small rural place with only one school, which was a metric school. So, like I had to think 10 times whether I have to continue my life here or make a move abroad because I had done psychology. So, you know that 30 years before all, psychology means people will see it in a different way. But now you have that course which is in a fast move and everybody want to learn psychology. And today's generation also, everything when they think it is a stress, they go for counseling also. So having that in mind, I took like after another 10, 15 years, the education what I'm going to take will be of a great demand. So, but when I came here, I was totally, what to say, lost. No, this is not the place where I'm going to live, or this place will never fetch my thirst. So,
But that
but
land was your own, your family's own land, is it?
no, 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 no. Actually, when he was working in a South India viscose company as a manager, and after like once we came here, 1 or 2 years, like to say, I was just grooming my daughter, and I had to see some people around me, always watching what I'm doing for my daughter, because whatever I studied, I started applying in her in senses like, see the right grooming I was doing. So they all started nagging my husband, ask your wife to start a play school, because even in that viscose factory, you had people from different parts of India. But though they come here, they'll be working here for 6 months or 1 year because even when they have their kids, they cannot bring them here, because just imagine an officer who's transferred from Delhi to Sirumugai, obviously he will not be comfortable bringing his entire family.
Right.
So you'll see that by 1 year's time he shifts and he moves off. So when they had seen that the way I was grooming my daughter, they said your wife's need is a must here for this locality. She has to make a change in this locality. I said, I don't belong to this place. They said, but still you belong to Tamil Nadu. You are part of Tamil Nadu, so you can very well revamp this place with your education, what you are thinking will be the best for the society. So that's how I started in 1998 a play school with 25 students, and then slowly it got picked up, and a lot more. There was a lot of recognition, like the changes what they were able to see, like every parent they started feeling that change, they started enjoying that change, they started sharing to everybody, and that's how the school picked up. And after that, is by 2001, we purchased land, a small piece of land, 2 acres, and we started the construction with 10 rooms. But it didn't stop with the 2 acres. It started expanding and expanding. So now, in our Metupalayam campus, that is between Sirumugai and Metupalayam, there's a place called Alangombu. We have this school where 2,000 children are studying. And after that, since I cannot meet up, like what to say, there was a huge demand for SSVM. So then I thought, okay, like if at all I have to open up another school, I have to open only in the city. So you will not believe, everybody from the city, they will come to a rural place. But from a rural place, zone, I had to go to the city. So so I had to do there as a day school. So Metupalayam is a residential campus with 700 students, and 1,500 students are there as a day scholars. And that's how slowly it started off. And now we have around 8 institutions, and all these 8 institutions are spreaded inside the city, so to satisfy the needs of the people. So we have schools with different budget, like one with the higher end with all exclusive facilities, then the other with a lower budget where it really helps the people who come on transfer. So they used to come on a transfer of 1 year, 2 year, the central government employees, and so for them, they always prefer taking a real school. So the parents who didn't want to travel a lot inside the city, at a walkable distance, we have Excellence, Heritage, RU, and so on. So this is how the journey of SSVM started, and it's on its move. And we try to
How
do
many
our
students
level
do you have?
best.
Altogether, how many students do you have in SSVM?
Altogether, I have around 10,000 students.
Oh my God. And how many years? This is just
And this is our
28.
25th year.
What?
25 years of journey SSVM is. I would always like to say, because people maybe today they are well aware of SSVM, but to come to limelight, it has taken 25 years. So it is 25 years of work what we had done to the society. What I would like to say to the younger generation here is, see, nothing will happen overnight. For anything to sustain on a long run, we will have to work a lot. The growth should be an organic growth, which everybody should understand at this point of the fast moving world.
But what were the advantages you had and what were the challenges in setting up an institution like this?
Advantages was like everywhere matriculation was there. So like 25 years before, there were only 4 CBSE schools. And just imagine me starting a CBSE school in the rural area, where it is quite difficult for people to understand what is matriculation. There I took it as a challenge, and I did CBSE. Why, you know? Because we had people, I told, no, like we had officers coming from different parts of the country. So, like, I felt that if we do the central board syllabus, even tomorrow, if the children they are studying here and suddenly the parents are getting shifted to Hyderabad or Bangalore or Mysore or even Maharashtra, central board syllabus they can easily go and join. But if it is going to be a matriculation syllabus, again for the child mid of the year, if they are going to go, it is going to be a tough time. So it was the welcoming syllabus was CBSE. And you asked the challenge, you know, like the South India Viscose Company was closed in the year 2000 because of its pollution. So that was quite a challenging time where you will know that many people had to leave the school and go to their own places. But when I started the school, I did keep in mind that this is a school only for the people in and around Sirumugai, Alangombu or Metupale. My vision was totally different. So I used to say to the people, see, if at all I'm going to run a school, I will run a school with the best infrastructure and with all the facilities where your child can develop that holistic development. So you take it from the culture. The child from abroad will come here and study, and from different parts of the country they will come. So in that way, there will be a exchange of culture. And at the same time, to say about this place, this Alangombo, Sirumugai, Metupalem belt, it's rich in agriculture, free from pollution, and it's a weaving textile area where you see that where you can see every house there will be a weaver weaving the costliest soft silk sarees. So here you don't have much of that financial crisis. So people, even though if a factory closes, people they have their own what to say financial growth because they are more independent. They are not dependent on the factory. So that was the next favorable part. But the challenging part was when the factory closed. Like just imagine when 200 children are there, around 50% of the children have to take the TC and go. So the balance was only 100. But the people, that is the parents who were inside, they were very supportive. They said, ma'am, we can still make things grow big and make your dreams come true. They were all very, very supportive. That's how I am still grateful to all the parents of SSVM who have made this SSVM survive with their what to say word of mouth of transfer of all our hard work to their friends, to their relatives, and brought in more children inside this locality. And even today, even though we give an ad or anything, see, ad is for the people to know, because our parents, they always come and say, ma'am, please give an ad. Because when we go and say SSM, they'll ask, where is that? But when that SSM ad comes in the newspaper, oh, that is the school you told. So that's how we wanted an ad to come. So even we will feel proud that our child is in the best school with the best quality that has been provided by you.
So the ads you did not need to attract them, but this is to satisfy them that you are advertising.
Yeah, correct. Because even I still remember the people in the media, they'll say, ma'am, you're giving ad, but there are so many calls to us asking, you are giving ad, but whenever we go for admission, they say admissions are full. What is it happening?
What is
So
the point in
then,
advertising?
yeah, so I used to say, sir, this is to give an awareness that there's a school called SSVM according to the need and what to say. There's a school which will really focus on the child's need. So always they are welcome. It is not that we don't say no admissions. According to the need, we provide them admissions in one of our campuses. I cannot say that only in the main campus I have to give the admission. We have around 8 campuses. Anywhere they can fit in, they can fit in.
And they have residential facilities.
Yeah, the residential is always full.
Right. No,
And
this is talking about advertisement. Captain Krishnan Nair, who built the Leela Empire.
okay,
The philosophy was that you build, they will come.
yeah,
So if you build a good institution, you don't need any advertisement or anything, and
yeah,
people will come. That was his theory. It's all written in all the hotels. Says you build, they will come, and they
yeah,
came from all
yeah.
over. And how many foreign students do you have? Maybe Indian.
We have in a residential setup, we have around 75% are foreign students, and
Well,
another 25 are people from different states and from different districts
these are
around.
of Indian origin students from the Gulf and other.
Yeah, yeah, they are all Indian origin students because they would have gone abroad 2, 3 generations earlier. So
Right.
now the parents are searching in for a school which will really give the right ethos, culture, value of our Indian tradition. So they always search a school in such a way they come here. And when they come here, they say, ma'am, they have learnt a lot of slogas. They have learnt a lot of values. That is how to respect the elders, how we value each and every person, how to greet. Because the word namaste, you would have seen every child will say namaste. So anybody who comes here, they'll be first shocked. How is that today's generation of children they are able to say namaste? So I'll say the first thing we say to them is, you take their love and your positive energy. So the moment they take the love and the positive energy, that's how you gather everything and you keep it here. And then they bow a lot and they wish and they go. So here if you see every teacher, including me, the moment the child keeps a hand like this, we do it. Even by mistake, the child wishes namaste and go. I ensure that I do. When I repeat back, I say namaste, children. So automatically they come back. So that's become a spontaneous fact of the children here. The moment they say that, they become humble in their thoughts, their ideas, everything. And here inside,
During the pandemic, everybody assumed namaste rather than shaking of hands.
yeah,
Remember?
that time they really said, ma'am, our namaste is now followed worldwide.
Oh, exactly. Of course, that's part of India's culture and so on.
Yeah.
But how much help did you get from the government in all this?
Once again, sir,
The government of
yeah.
Tamil Nadu government or government of India, how much support did you get? Or is it was entirely private enterprise?
Yeah, it is entirely a private enterprise. We are not a aided school or we don't get any support from the government. Because that is, I think nowadays that government aided schools or minority schools, all those things have slowly stopped because there are more number of private sectors. When there are more number of private sectors, the people they themselves have a mindset than going in for a government or for a government aided school. They prefer entering a private school where they think that they get the best quality. But I always say that still, even there are hand-picked government schools and many government aided schools where even today they are giving the best quality. It all depends upon the teachers who are working there. Because to be very frank, today's trend, the what to say in our budget, whatever has been allotted for the education, I will say it is not used to that extent. That is what I have to say. See, if you take America or even China, they give more prioritization for the education. So in their budget, they keep it like 6.9% or 4.3%, and they see that lot of research happens inside the educational sector. So according to the need, according to the changes, there are a lot of things being done. But when it comes to India, because I think the population is very high and you have a diverse culture. So like you have a diverse culture, and the next is you have various level of economic groups where sometimes it's very difficult to reach all those people or what I don't know, but still there's a lot of R&D needed for the educational sector.
Right. Generally, of the state of education in India, what is your assessment? Do we match with the rest of the world? Normally, probably not. Is that your impression?
No. We are trying to match. See, that's what more number of private schools, private institutions are there. No, now those institutions are in par with the foreign. If you take college, foreign universities are getting now what to say, collaborated with the Indian universities.
Yeah.
And now many new Indian universities are coming with the foreign style where they are trying to bring in faculties from abroad, and it's like a flying faculty. So today you fix a class today with this professor. The professor will be with them for 1 semester or 1 month, and then he flies back to another country, to another university. So this is started off with the higher education. But when it comes to the school education, it is not. That is what I have to say.
But
Because
generally, the belief is that the school education is of a higher standard than higher education. Because the changes in higher education are coming slowly. You know, a few universities in Delhi, in Kerala, no private universities are still not allowed. And
oh,
I struggled very hard to bring in, I was in education for 5 years in higher education. And I tried to bring in private universities, but there was great resistance. But the
okay,
same government has now decided to go in for private universities because the state universities can never change much. You need like foreign banks when they came, how local banks also had to compete. So
correct.
similarly, if foreign institutions come or private institutions come, it acts as an incentive.
Yeah.
And that is what's happening here. But in Delhi, etc., now there are first-class universities, starting with Amity, then it went on to all these Nadar, Shiv Nadar University. There are
When
so many
Ashoka,
of them which will
Ashoka.
match any standards. But overall in India, if you look at the education system, we cannot be very happy about it, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, that is true. So, for example, if you take school education, still when you have a syllabus other than the state or the central syllabus, for a child to enter inside the counseling, that is a syllabus like international syllabus, if a school is opted for, let us say as Cambridge or IB, or if you take Australian syllabus, which is now popping up as mushroom schools everywhere. Like when the first question the parent asks is, yeah, we love the style of Cambridge education, we love the style of IB, we can understand there's a lot of research learning in all the three syllabuses. Take it Australian syllabus or IB or, but when we wanted a college admission, they say that these marks are not valid. They are not eligible to join in any Indian universities. So because no, like if a child have to enter any big renowned governmental universities, take it Anna University or so, children they don't get admissions. So then the parent they say, if I am going to put my child here, I have to take them to a private university, which is of high, what to say, high payment. So instead of paying 25 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs for my child to study in one Indian university, it's better let me take my child abroad. So that's how
Yeah.
the children are being transferred to abroad universities. So this has to change. That is what I have to say. See, there should be an acceptance of all syllabus whenever the
In our
child.
own universities, yes.
Yeah,
In our
yes,
own.
sir. So when that is not there, it is very difficult. For example, if you take NIOS, NIOS is not at all recognized. Any child who completes 12th standard in NIOS, they say no, we cannot. You are not eligible for Anna University counseling. The child feels so bad. So then they have to go join in a private college with a huge capitation fees, etc., etc. So these are all small things that the education pattern has to change in India.
But CBSE is acceptable everywhere.
CBSE is acceptable. That too late. Now, after this NEET and entrance importance had come, CBSE is more of at a acceptable rate. Otherwise, I think 8 years before, if you take any child after 10th standard, they will normally go join in a state syllabus. So when we ask the parents, why is that you're going to the state syllabus, they'll say, ma'am, if my child is going to be in 11th and 12th in CBSE, their score will be lesser. So obviously, if they go to the state syllabus, they will get very high cutoff. So maybe 98, 99 or 100 out of 100. So automatically, my child can easily join medicine. The moment NEET was introduced, what to say?
But
The wind started,
level it
yeah,
up.
yeah, the wind started moving towards CBSE. So now, even if a child who completes in metric, they wanted them to be put in 11th and 12th CBSE because they feel that 11th and 12th textbooks play a major role for the NEET entrance exam. NEET and even IIT.
But of course, children going to study abroad has also other implications. You can get a bigger job, you can get citizenship. So it's not only education that they are aiming at, because children need to want to go abroad for higher education so that they can live in the US or UK or Germany, etc. That also is an aspect, isn't it? It is not just a matter of education.
But I always say the children, see, whatever you learn, come and apply it in our country. But the children, they will say, it's nice for you to say, ma'am, but it is very difficult. So that's how, see, if you take my daughter, she did her college, UG, PG, everything in abroad. And the moment she completed, she worked 1 year as an experience, job experience that she wanted to gain there. She came back here and now she is doing her own project, and that's very successful because they know to do it in a very, systematic way. So that system, those things all they learn there and they come here and they apply it. When she came and when she applied, I thought whether this will work out in our country, but it is very successful. So to be very frank, even I took a few of her methodologies and I applied it inside our school also. And when she was studying in Vancouver, she met our Prime Minister, Modi. So that time he had to ask her, what made you take up your UG in Vancouver, University of British Columbia, she was studying. So she said, no, I want to become a social entrepreneur. So when I come outside, I want to get a lot of connections. So that's a reason why from India all the way I had to take Vancouver in Canada. So what is that you have now almost 1 year you had been? What is that you have gained? When he had to ask her, she beautifully told the research what she studied, what she had learned from her friends. See, children from China. What happens in census? Like anybody who is the best. See, in our country, who is the best? They are in IIT, they are in IIM, they complete civil service, etc. So in their country, what they do is that top cream students, the country sponsors them to go and study in the world's best university. And once they complete their UG, they have to go back to their own country. They have to work for 2 years. And again, when they wanted a post graduation, again, if they have done a very good job in their service in their country, they have done a remarkable transformation only. They will again the government
This is
sponsors.
specific to China, is it?
Yeah, China.
Yeah.
So then again, the government sponsors. They come for their masters. So
Yeah,
once
the largest number of foreign students are from China in the US.
yeah. So, again, once they complete their masters, they have to go work in their country for 4 years.
Yes.
After 4 years, then they can go and work anywhere in any part of the country. So, this is the reason why China is growing automatically. So, if we can follow this in our country, our children will go back and they'll come back. So I said to my daughter, whether this is possible in our country. She said, of course, when the degree certificate is with the government, how can you manipulate and you can stay back there? So the visa gets over, automatically you will have to come back here. But
But
in
most
our
people
country,
manage to stay. Most people
yeah.
manage to stay back there.
But after their period, like for example, see, after 2 years, then they are not needed inside the government. They go back, they can live anywhere. That's how their policy is. But if we take in our country the brainy children who is in IIT, they just after they complete, it's all
To go to
government.
the US. Yeah.
They just live abroad. So there's no benefit for our country. So I think certain policies, now what the government is doing is these small changes they can bring inside, where we can see an abnormal, surely we will see an abnormal growth in our country also. A few educational policy patterns can be changed.
So, what do you think of the new education policy? I'm sure you must have studied
New
it.
education policy is a very good policy as far as we have that infrastructure facility. See, they have given the policy. Yes, it is a very good policy and it's a most challenging and whatever innovations, etc., everything is brought. See, this is possible. For this change to happen, it will take another 10 years. It's not going to happen
Their own
overnight.
objective is 30 years. As they are
Yeah,
looking in
they are
30
saying.
years, they will be able to make a change. But that is too long. One generation will be lost in
Yeah,
that
one
policy.
generation or two, three generations will go off.
Right, right,
Nowadays,
right.
it's like every year there is a generation gap. That is what we see. Because every year, because we are in the school sector, to be very frank, pre-KG, LKG we have. So the child who is in pre-KG, the knowledge he gains when he comes to LKG, it's the next level. So we cannot use for the child the same technique what we used for the last year LKG. So every year we have to keep changing the things according to their knowledge level. The knowledge level of the present young generation is very high. So we have to feed them with lots of fast gaining knowledge techniques. So the national education policy, when it comes to the private sector, yes, of course, all the private sectors will do it in a very successful way. But what about the government schools? Because overnight they have to change the infrastructure facility.
Yeah.
They'll have to train the teachers.
New system.
Yeah, it's a huge expense going to be on the government for this new education policy. But if we implement and if we go with it, you will have a 360-degree holistic developmental change seen in every child.
Have you already introduced some of these things in your school?
Yeah, now our school is, see, actually,
Like
first.
the language that everybody should learn it in, vernacular in the early years. All that you have
Yeah,
introduced.
yeah, yeah. See, that is already there in our pattern, because when you take Montessori, Montessori is something the child will start developing slowly in their language. So if you take the child, you cannot immediately insert English. So the child will learn in a very creative way and in an understanding way from their mother tongue only. So that vernacular language is already followed in our Montessori system. And actually, if you take Maria Montessori 100 years before she came to India, she did a detailed research of what our Indian tradition is, how we are learning, how we are able to learn maths, how we are able to learn language, everything. So that's how she went there and she started trying out this syllabus, and it became a successful syllabus. When we start going inside it, when we start doing that, you will not know it's indirectly or directly it is our methodology where they have put. Because only we have to say Indian kids' brains are a multi-language brain. See, when you take an American, they have only one language, American. But if you take an Indian, for example, if the mother is a Tamil, the father is Kannada or any state, the child there itself he learns
Already
three
know three languages.
languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, there the child learns two language. When he comes to the school,
No, but then the local language also they will.
yes,
They are living in Delhi, then they will know Hindi also. So
yes. So this diverse culture, I think in the world, nowhere, no child will have this exposure. So
that's
I
an
will
advantage.
always
That's
say,
an advantage.
yeah, because see, children's brain is something, what to say, even that is the child who is below 3 years, whatever you give to the child is going to grasp like that because they always say when the bud is opening, you'll know that whenever the rain comes, the rainwater goes inside and it holds it for some time and it still takes its own time for it to bloom. So that's how their brain is. So whatever they get, they try to capture and keep within them, and they start using whenever it is needed. So that's what we should not stop the child from learning before 3 years. So that's what the Anganwadi system, what they have brought, 0 to 3, is an excellent educational policy in the national education policy.
But hasn't been changed to 0 to 5 now?
Yeah, 0 to 5. 0 to 5. So that is I'm saying. See, it is 0 to 5, but that 0 to 3, whatever they have given,
That
is a
was in the
step by
informal
step by
sector.
step.
Now they want it in the formal sector.
Yeah, correct. No,
And
when
that you
it
have
was,
adopted. Have you adopted that? Now you have nursery school children also coming to your school.
yeah. That is what is our school. That is a RU. It is from 0 to 6 years.
Right.
So we have children from 6 months to 6 years.
But in the earlier time, in your own time, you had all
Uh,
English in the beginning, right?
yeah.
The
We
English
have,
so-called English medium school, yeah,
yeah.
where they don't learn anything other than the English language.
Yeah, so
That you
now
have.
we have parents from Hindi background. We have parents from Malayalam background. We have parents from Tamil background. So accordingly, we segregate and we take the sessions. But still, parents they come back and they say, "Ma'am, let us
English.
have one common language," because anyhow the child they learn our communicative language in the house, but still we wanted to see how far they are able to grasp another language. So it's always a multicultural language in rural years.
And you also teach Hindi regardless of your being in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
There's no
Children
problem.
learn Hindi, they learn French, they learn Spanish, they learn Sanskrit.
These are all optional.
No, optional, not some pairs. We second language is Tamil. Third language can be Hindi or Spanish or French. And other than that, we have got a portal called Mindjo, where through that they learn n number of languages. So weekly, it is like 3 hours. So it's more of a communicative language, not written and reading. So you will not believe how beautifully children are speaking.
Okay.
Because,
How about the vocational training which they have introduced
yeah, vocational
from the
training,
part of
for
age
example,
of 12 or something? No.
yeah, so vocational training we have now started. We have now tied up with the Navy, and we have going to start from next month boat making. So children they already know how to build a flight, aero modeling. And on top of it, every child now in our music class, we have started in our residential setup how to make new instruments. So there they are because see new inventions, even from a coconut shell, something new by putting a rubber band or putting a thread or inserting some materials, wealth out of waste. How will you create? Now that is what is the skill which is really needed because whatever we see, we think that is not needed and we just throw it out. So wealth out of waste, sustainability. So they start taking everything and they are doing new inventions, creations. To be very frank, like whatever, see, okay, a computer which we think, okay, it is of no use. Children take that and they have built their own robo in it. It is good. I said, what is this, ma'am? Which you all thought it is of no use. It was in the scrap. So our master took us to the scrap area. He told, now whatever you think you wanted, you take from here and utilize or build a new thing which you think it will be your invention. So many things.
They do create new
So
instruments.
robotics they learn, 3D printing they learn. So 3D printing is something where they'll have to draw, they'll have to understand things. For example, if they are going to learn about a cube or cuboid, see the teacher will be drawing in the board and they'll be explaining. But how will they visualize? So that visualization, they just start developing it in their computer, and then when they take out, the actual cube or cuboid comes. So they come out beautifully and they say, ma'am, I know how to build a cube or cuboid, or even whatever you take, even the structure of the heart, then even if it is a hibiscus, so they draw a calyx and how the calyx look. They try to take a printout and they come and they say, this is how the calyx looks, and they try to connect it with the natural calyx of a shoe flower. It's
No,
well.
but these students, when they qualify, they have to get an appropriate institution of higher education. Otherwise, all this will be wasted. No, they will do all this, and then suppose they jump into a regular lecture class education, then this will all be lost, don't you think?
Yeah, 100%. That's why majority of our students are leaving off abroad. 1 year they'll go to a college, they'll say, ma'am, what, for example, aeronautical engineering, they'll join. So when they enter the aeronautical engineering, what they learnt here from class 4 to 12, how to build, how to fly, everything. So when they go inside, they give the paper, children draw how to make a flight. So these children, they say, I have learned this when I was in fourth standard. So there are some children who have left abroad where they are identified. You wasn't one boy. He was in one of the best colleges of Coimbatore. Then suddenly he came back one day after 6 months and he said, ma'am, I don't think for my knowledge level or any of our students' knowledge level, the colleges will be able to stuff in whatever you give. So I'm just leaving to Canada. And the university where he went, to Toronto University, by another 6 months' time, they sent a big letter of appreciation to the school. How you all have molded the children with a lot of skill. So he is a topper of their university. So soon he will
Clear
be.
what degree you have or anything like that. Just an
Well,
idea is enough, right? That is
what?
how.
What is?
No. In degrees, them by themselves are not so valuable in that
Yeah.
system. You
Yeah.
have a
Correct.
new idea and you have
Yeah.
a computer and maybe a garage, you become a millionaire.
Correct.
That is the
And
system. And that doesn't fit in with our kind of system. How many students do startups after their degree? Very few. So that is the reason why there is this big gap between our education system and what is in the US. Or
But normally, what we do inside our school, if you take, we always mold leaders, and we always say, you create job for at least 10. So when you are able to create job for at least 10, there'll be no term called unemployment inside our country. So when you are also going to go in search of a job, 100% whatever you got inside the school, you will never try to apply it in your college. So see that whatever you learn in school, you apply it in the college. And whatever you apply it in the college, the plus or minus, you will take it for your life's growth. So when you complete your college and come, start your entrepreneurial skills. Bring out your entrepreneurial skills from zero investment. So I'll say, don't take a huge amount and invest and say, ma'am, I'm doing such a big business. Start from a dot. So that dot should give you a big picture, not a small picture. So even 2 days before, I had to meet somebody from the media where they had to interview. They said, ma'am, all your students have become entrepreneurs. I said, is it? Then they gave me a big data. I said, yeah, I'm so happy that you all have collected a big data and you all are coming and sitting with me. Today, the need of the hour is entrepreneurial skills. If that entrepreneurial skills are given by all educational institutions,
they are
it
not being
gives you
given. All education institutions.
No,
They
they
are
have
only
to. They
bookish
have.
knowledge institutions.
For example, if you take, there are so many skill areas which is dying, and tomorrow we are going to pay a huge amount for something
To
which is
reinvent.
nothing. Yes, sir. So when you
Exactly.
take a carpentry, if a child is going to get the skill and he is going to get educated in a different way, once he completes his education in a technical field, let us say, so he'll come back with a robo which will come out with the carpentry skill. He can build a robo with carpentry skills according to the need. But when the child does not know that skill, how can he build a robo? It is impossible.
No, but you have to have an ecosystem established where
Yeah,
your students can fit in. That is probably where you have a problem.
yeah, correct.
Right. Because that is why probably many of them go abroad, because creation of jobs is easier there. But this startup ecosystem has developed, but the success rate is not so high, particularly in Kerala, it does not seem to be.
Yeah, but there are a lot of funds given by the central government for all the startups. Because I'm seeing, because Coimbatore is an industrial hub. So I see here every house, there is one youngster who says that I have started off one new small scale industry. It's nice. So when I sit and talk with them, they always say that this fund was given by the government, so I had to take another 5 years. I have to repay. So I think government starts from 10 lakhs and more than that. I think maximum is 1 crore for a startup.
Oh, that's very good. But is it accessible to many people? Or?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is accessible as far as they understand Hindi.
I see.
If they know Hindi, they can understand the policies, and then they have to put in the application and they have to go inside it. That's what I'm saying. No, so like if you take Tamil Nadu, majority people wherever from different parts of Tamil Nadu, they would always like to bring their children for college education to Coimbatore. The simple reason is after they complete the college education, the exposure around them. Anybody who enters Coimbatore, they become entrepreneurs.
Interesting.
That's the big
But
mantra of success.
another thing I noticed in the West, I spent several years in the US.
Yeah.
The professors collaborate with the students to set up startup systems, and the professors also make a lot of money. Does that happen? Does that happen here?
That does not happen here. That's the student, they themselves.
Stanford University, I know a professor who
Uh,
is on the board of 80 companies set up by his children, you know,
uh,
and he's a millionaire himself. He doesn't do anything except encouraging them. And so that has not come here yet. Maybe teachers should be able to, participate in it so that they can give the lead. That may be one way to do it.
Maybe your point is a very nice point. So, people who are listening to this, the professors, the teachers, if they are going to support the children for a startup, ultimately tomorrow they can be multimillionaires because.
Exactly.
Like 100 students, because they are only more connected with the students. So whatever ideas they have, when they are giving to the next generation, they'll know how to work on it and make it successful. So what is theoretical, the teacher can make it practical through their students.
Yes. So, but when are you moving on to higher education? Are you planning to?
Uh, Maybe.
You
On
should,
the
because
list.
you have to
Yes.
carry this higher and higher.
Yeah, correct. Soon.
Good, good. So then there will be SSVM college also,
Yeah, university.
university. But
Because
in
we are planning for a different style of university, not the regular system. Either it should be skill based or sports based.
okay, that's also sports. Now look at this Commonwealth Games. They've
Yeah,
done so well, and maybe the next Olympics we may have at least a couple of gold medals. So
yeah, correct. No,
yeah,
it's improving, but still maybe the infrastructure support and see, like we have more colleges for engineering. Why not more apt colleges for skill and for sports? See,
But you get
sports
CSR
day.
support. You get CSR support from industries.
Like no, what I'm saying is, see, when it comes to sports, uh, it should be when they enter inside, they should develop the skill. At the same time, the individual should know to market them. They should be also on the production side. For example, a person who's highly skilled and who's very good in sports, he should go, he should win. But at the same time, he would have used his techniques, various techniques. For example, let us say rifle shooter. So for the rifle, see, I know my daughter was a rifle shooter. Certain rifles, it's not available in our country. It has to come from abroad. But when the child is learning a course on air rifle shooting, parallelly they can know how to build a rifle and how to manufacture that. So ultimately, what will happen? See, that which is very costly, when they are going to manufacture in our country with the best quality, the rate is going to come down. And
So
again,
the
when you
sport becomes an industry.
yes, sir.
My own daughter-in-law was a Commonwealth shooter gold medalist.
Oh,
Rupa Unnikrishnan, you might have heard the name.
yeah, I've heard of her.
He was from Tamil Nadu.
Oh,
He now lives in New York. And so we are very proud of her because she's such a dedicated sports person. And that comes into everything in her life.
yeah.
Any problem that comes into her life, she handles it much easier than others, simply because of the grit that she developed as a shooter.
No,
So,
that's what I'm
not,
thinking. So, like, for example, if you take the other day, I was speaking to one sports person. I was saying, see, when you take even the sports shoes, it is all manufactured in abroad, not in India. So,
no.
like, it is manufactured for their leg form, not for our leg shape. So, automatically, we have to fit in it, and still we have to go win the match along with them.
With those others who are used to it, yes.
Yes, sir. So, but why not we build a shoe or manufacture a shoe for our leg size? So, automatically, an athlete should know what type of cushioning, what type of shaping should be for our Indian leg, where we can easily win. So, I said, so this is what, if at all I do a sports university, I will focus on all these areas. So,
Is there
life,
one like that now in India? Is there a sports university?
as
No.
of now, I don't think.
Then you'll be a pioneer, right?
Something when somebody, what to say, that's what I said. No, I'm a very peculiar character. What nobody thinks about, I'll think that.
Well, that is how you change the society.
So this is what, because I'm able to see nowadays the children, no, the amount of passion they have towards sports. But still, the parents, by the end of the day, they come and say, "Ma'am, they are in 11th and 12th. Please don't allow them for sports. See that they get the best marks." But I still say to them, when they are able to play the sports and win in the sports and games, ultimately for the child to catch up in their subject also is very simple and easy. By simply making them study 24 into 7, I don't think they'll be able to make the best of their
No, they
life.
become
What they are.
problem solvers because in sports that is the thing. No? So you are challenged all the time, and you have to keep inventing. And
Yeah,
if you that apply to your own life, and that is where the success comes. This is a fantastic
because
idea.
because
The
we
prime minister
always
will
say
be
no.
very happy. The
Yeah, we
prime minister
always
will be very happy if you start a sports university.
Yeah, we always say no. India is the most youngest country. We have lot of youth in our country. Youth population is more, but
Demographic dividend, the demographic dividend.
so
But
but
in the
the
context of 75th anniversary, people are saying that we are going to lose that very soon. That's unfortunate. I've been hearing about this last few days that the average age is now about 24 or 25. It's already going to be 38. Things
oh
like that. Because in Japan it is 62 and China it is 73 and all that. So we are still much younger. But
yeah,
still,
correct.
currently there is some genetic thing which is happening, which might reduce the demographic advantage that we have. I
Yeah,
haven't studied
because
properly. That's
we don't have a physical work. We are doing only mental work. So since the IT field has come, so the young generation who have to be active physically, they
they
are
do
made
that.
to
They
sit.
play with the fingers only. They
Yeah,
don't use anything else.
so they are made to sit at one place. They are not able to move from one place to another. So their capabilities are all, closed within the fact of
They become
expressing
robots themselves. So, that
100%.
is right.
So, though India is becoming a knowledge hub, but a physical hub should happen.
Also,
That is
so
very,
this is
very
a great
important.
combination that you are thinking about.
Physical
I'm sure,
activity.
I'm sure our viewers will catch up on this idea of a sports university. That will be very.
Because I always say to every student, make a note from now onwards, another 10 years, robots can be, artificial intelligence can be, everything will be, even you will not know that your exam will be written by a robot or something else. But no, nobody can replace your physical fitness, I said. So there's going to be a high demand for trainers in physical fitness for games. So that time the entire world will take a big U-turn and they'll be going towards
Sports.
sports. So which you cannot. So if you have to lose weight, if you work out only, you will lose weight. A Robo cannot come and sit, do a workout for you. Robo can write the exam, but Robo
Oh
will not
my.
do fitness.
Oh, Yuval Harari had said that after some time, robots will take over everything and human beings will become worthless.
Correct.
Because you will have no role. Unless you are a high thinker or you are a top-notch IT person, you will have
Yeah,
no role. A truck driver cannot run a computer. So what does the
correct.
truck driver do? He has to fade away from life. So this
Correct.
happened. How about the pandemic? How did you handle it, your education system? Did you suffer a
I
lot or the online education helped you?
no, actually, pandemic was started on March 20th. Still, I will never forget that day. From March
2020,
20,
2020, yes.
2020, March 20th. So it was all 2020. So like what happened, it was like by 11 o'clock, we got the news that the schools have to get shut down and children will go. So we thought, okay, it's going to be a month, holiday
It
or
was only
something.
14 days or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so then we thought, okay, still few exams, one or two exams was left out. 10th, they completed their board exam. 12th had two exams, like computer science and accounts. So when it was for arts group, it was accounts and computer science. When it was for science group, maths group, it was only computer science. Science group, they completed all their exams. So then we had to give them revision. So March 21st, we jumped inside the online. So like we took up the Zoom session and our teachers went off. But the very next day, since we started off, things was very fine. Every parent was feeling so great. How is that
And you
SSVM?
were well connected by then.
Yeah, yeah,
You
we
had
were all
internet
well.
and that is the advantage. Your school probably was at an advantage. Here people are climbing trees to get connectivity. You have, and a child fell off from the tree.
Oh,
He tried to catch the place where he can get the internet connection. you know,
okay.
and he fell off, poor guy. So that was the situation here. I had recommended online education in 2011. I held an international conference and tried,
2011 itself, you told. Okay.
tried to introduce it, and nobody touched it. Everybody said you are wasting your time and money and energy. Why do we need it? If only
Ah.
we had done it partly, at least at that time, we would not have been in this kind of situation.
Because
Because
our teachers,
massive open line courses had come, MOOCs had already come. And you could have, even without the pandemic, you could take examinations from abroad through MOOCs, the Khan Academy and various other things. In fact, people used to say at that time there will be a time when there will be no buildings for universities. There is no need. You can sit at home. But nobody believed it. Nobody said it was good enough. Teachers were the worst. They said, what kind of online education? I want to see my child. I want to talk to them. I have to hug her. I mean, yes, that's all true. But you are in a situation where you cannot do that. There must be an alternative.
yeah, like here, a nice point I have to say. My daughter came back that January 2020, she returned. And immediately when she entered the classrooms, she said interactive flat panel is given in all the class. They are not using it in the right way.
Yeah,
So
they were
we'll
not
have
using
to.
it. He gave computers to the principals. They used to keep it on their table and cover up with a plastic sheet and put a flower pot on it.
Oh,
No intention to open it. And I asked one of the principals, when are you going to open it? No, sir, if I open it, go bad and my pension will be stopped.
Oh,
I said, then you can, I'm going to stop your pension now because if 6 years you have kept it like this, it's already
ah,
gone. So
correct.
that
So,
was the situation. That was the
so
situation.
like, so we had to give a training for our teachers that January and February, my
That
daughter,
was
she was
tough. That must have been tough.
really struggling a lot. And then we had to choose some teachers and then we had to give. And when the lockdown came, I don't know. See, when there is when everywhere oxygen is there, you will not value oxygen. When
Right.
suddenly when you are going to go to a place where there's no more oxygen, how much you will value and what are the different techniques you will try to keep yourself live is that day, March 21st, we were able to see from the teachers. So the moment we called them, you come, this is how you have to enter Google, so this is how you have to do. Everything, fadal, they went off and they started having the whiteboard in their house and they started writing in the board and they started teaching. Then from there, slowly, we developed a portal and then in that portal, they all started going and then they all started using the computer. Now they are all next level.
And so I think that will be developed like a dual system because
Yeah.
people are not going to give up online education.
And
And
like you will not believe, my daughter said, she don't stop off. See, once the lockdown has got released, don't leave this technology system. You try to have hybrid style of education.
UGC has
So
already said 60-40 it should be
yeah,
hybrid.
so when you have that hybrid style of education, maybe a teacher whom you think is in America, you wanted her to come and teach. Now, very well, she can get connected inside the interactive flat panel and she can take the class. So that's how we are doing for
That's
Cambridge.
already happening. But finally, we are running out of our time. What is your projection for India, say 25 years from today? You are optimistic?
Yeah, like I always say that we are in a beautiful country where we are all valued. See, at any time, I will say, being in India, I have a what to say, I enjoy this pride. I enjoy this pride to say I'm a true Indian because at any point, even in this corona, like when people were suffering, each one of us were helping each other. We were not like other countries throughout the world where we had to shut the door and say, no, I cannot give you food. No, I
Isolate.
cannot. So we didn't isolate. Even though we will be affected, we knew there were a lot of helping hands. So, what I would like to say here is out of my 25 years of experience in this field of education, education is something that is going to grow big in our country. And what I wanted the youngsters to take inside their mind is please see that how much you value your country, your surrounding, and your elders. These three things are the most important fact that which always keep India grow to its height.
So you are optimistic.
Yeah,
I hope, I hope it'll end up like, because the world is in a crisis now,
yeah.
but hopefully we'll get over all those and then at least have some peace and quiet so that people like you can really work hard. So thank you very much
Thank you.
uh,
Thank you very much, sir.
for joining us today. I think you've given lots of ideas. I'm sure you'll be flooded with inquiries the moment this show is on the air. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank
So
you.
your
Thank
own
you very
namaste. Thank you.